News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. Well, we have more news on that horrific invasion that we heard yesterday. And, of course, it was wild. Let's see here. We'll play that invasion attack right now. Okay, that attack that we all saw, you need to know several things that I've gathered today. Number one, 600 illegals were in that invasion. 600. Number two, they did assault our National Guardsmen. Number three, from my friend and Newsmax border correspondent Jason Jones, a man who I quote all the time on this show. He's a former DPS captain, head of border operations and border control and counterintelligence and counterterrorism at the border. Now retired, now Newsmax border operation. Newsmax border correspondent. He said there were actually that today there was several hundred again. This happened again today. This is not an abnormal occurrence to have this happen. What happened was we had our cameras there. New York Post had some cameras there. By the way, our number is 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. But there were several things Jason told me. He also sent me some video. Here is another incident today alone from Newsmax. Jason took this video himself. Here it is, illegals doing the same thing today, busting through fences, shaking it, and trying to take it down. They're bouncing up and down on the fence and the razor ribbon. It's on my Twitter feed. You can see it yourself at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show. There's a limited amount of video he was able to get because the Border Patrol supervisors are watching, and so they get little clips here and there without the Border Patrol coming in and stopping it and taking their God knows what to their devices. He also sent me, and this is all up on my Twitter feed. You can see an overview of. I'm looking at it right now from the chopper, and you can see hundreds and hundreds of illegals right at the fence trying to get in, or at least talking to the guardsmen, seeing if they can get in. And you see rows and rows all the way down, tents and tents and tents and tents, and they're between the river and our border barrier. So they can starve themselves to death if they want to, but they ain't getting over our border. Except what they did yesterday is what they did again today, except yesterday they were successful by tearing down the border fencing that we put up, the razor ribbon, and I'm looking at this video as we're talking, too. So here's the deal, guys. We also found out that the U.S. Attorney, Joe Biden's U.S. Attorney, is prosecuting the ringleaders. They call them the ringleaders, 12 people that they say were in charge of the border crossers that stormed in and assaulted the guardsmen and everything. And a couple of things I want to ask you. By the way, if Joe Biden's prosecuting these 12, why aren't they prosecuting all the 600? Why are they not prosecuting all the 600? And why didn't our Texas Rangers or our Texas Guardsmen? Don't you agree? One of my listeners, Bobby Hoffman, who follows me on Twitter, said, if I was the governor, I'd order the troops to start firing rubber bullets at everybody. I think that's a reasonable thought to explore. He said everybody that touches the fence should be hit with rubber bullets. Why aren't we tear gassing is my other thing. When people rush the border and they're attacking it like that, why don't we tear gas? I mean, I don't understand why we're not doing that. Is that something you think we should explore? Looking at rubber bullets, riot control, like beanbag guns being shot, and mace, pepper spray, that kind of stuff. So here's a few questions I have for you right now. Chime in at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Would you be okay with our governor using rubber bullets and tear gas on these illegals as they're trying to tear down our border wall? I think that'd be great, and our razor ribbon. If it's the Republicans' fault, as Joe Biden says today, and the Democrats say today, why do you think they're prosecuting these illegals? I don't think they're prosecuting these illegals because they did this. I think they're prosecuting these illegals because the optics are bad. And what about the administration? Do you think this chaos that we're seeing at the border with the 500 illegals, 600 illegals yesterday, today, hundreds and hundreds at the border, some of them trying to tear down the fencing as I show you on my Twitter feed. Do you think this chaos will all end if Trump's elected? Because I have a friend who said to me a day or two ago, who definitely doesn't agree with Trump and wouldn't vote for him and such like that. But nonetheless, I have a friend who said, Chris, the same thing is going to happen if Trump gets the office in the fall. I said no, because the worst month under Trump was 140,000 illegals. The worst month under Biden, I think, is 380,000 illegals. I mean, are you kidding me? That's like 2.5 times the amount let in under Joe Biden versus Trump. I mean, you're looking at 2 to 3 million a year for Joe Biden. He has an all-out invasion of this country, and it's what he wants. He's letting it. He gets mad when he blamed us. I don't know if you caught that. Biden blamed us, and the Democrats blame us. If you were to pass this bipartisan deal that we had, your bipartisan deal would have this quote-unquote bipartisan deal would have let in 4,000 illegals a day. It would have codified it. We don't have anything in law saying, well, we must allow in 4,000 to 5,000 illegals a day. This would have put it in law, saying that we have to let in 4,000 to 5,000 illegals a day. Like, that's never been in our laws. Would you want that in our books? You really think this would have stopped that? Number two, and remember Jay Johnson, former Obama secretary, DHS secretary, said more than 1,000 a day is not manageable. And Joe wanted to codify up to 5,000 a day as manageable. It also would have given, I don't know if you caught this one yesterday when I was talking about it, I just found out yesterday, it would have given sanctuary cities $7 billion, B as in boy, dollars, so they could keep the illegals there and create a magnet and feed them, house them, everything would be great. Oh, here's all the money. Would you want that? Would that have stopped this? No, it would have increased the illegal invasion. This wouldn't have stopped any of it. So what do you think? What kind of tools should we be using at the border to repel these illegals as they tear down our walls and our razor ribbon and our fences? Are you okay? Would you be okay with the governor using rubber bullets and tear gas, maybe beanbag shots from the shotgun shells, where there's beanbag guns instead of bullets, obviously? Would you be okay with our governor using that? And don't you think we should? Isn't that wouldn't that be a reasonable choice to stop them? Because nothing stopped them yesterday. And why do you think the administration is prosecuting 12 of these 600 illegals? Is it the optics, or is it because they're actually concerned about security? I don't think it's the security. I think it's the optics. And I think if nobody saw this, they wouldn't have prosecuted anybody. I also heard from from Fox News today that all those illegal migrants that bum rushed us in and invaded us were all given a stamp in. They were all given a ticket in, processed, and let in. Tom in Burleson, you're on WBAP on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey, Tom.
How you doing, young man? You doing all right tonight?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you?
Oh, just doing peachy. Did I lose you?
No, I'm waiting for you to say something. I got you that you're peachy, yes?
Okay, yes, sir. I just think that you already said something about the optics. I think it's even be worse than that. I think the DOJ would hum down like they did the January 6 people.
Say it again. You think what? You think what? Sorry.
Yeah, I think that the DOJ would go after the
guardsmen.
Guard. Yeah, that fired anything at him, rubber bullets or whatever. I mean, look what they've done to the January 6 people.
So you think the governor's not doing it because he's afraid that the guardsmen will be prosecuted?
No, I just think that's what would happen.
But, I think we should find out. I mean, if you see these people trying to shake the border fence down and tear through it, that's anarchy and that's lawlessness and that's an invasion, a criminal invasion. So I wonder how that would show. I wonder how that would play out, because how the Justice Department has not forced their Border Patrol people. Biden administration hasn't forced their Border Patrol people to go in and cut up and stop everything in Eagle Pass. They didn't do that. They never did, because I think they were afraid we'd be able to see it all, and they'd see his government coming in to stop our government from protecting our border. And so I think the same way, personally, I think it would backfire tremendously if they tried to, if Biden administration tried to prosecute us, our state or our governor or our guardsmen for firing rubber bullets or tear gas at these illegals as they're trying to tear down our wall. I think that'd be very fair, and I don't think they'd want to do that, prosecute it, because I think they would lose that battle.
I would sure hope so.
I
sure would hope so.
I appreciate
I would like to see them do something.
I would like them to see them do something too, Tom and Burleson. I appreciate your call. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. I'm going to tell you what a couple of Democrats said about how this is all our fault and that it's Governor Abbott's fault, too. You're not going to believe what some of the Texas Congress folks said, Democrats. All that next on the Chris Crock Show, a News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Our number is 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Lines wide open for you.
Is this an invasion?
I know that you are trying to ask a gotcha question. Of course, you don't want anybody getting assaulted.
I wouldn't use the word invasion. I'm seeing there's a lot of disinformation about what happened. I saw the video. I've read reports that a lot of those folks were on U.S. soil already.
If the New York Attorney General starts to take his homes away, starts to seize his assets, it's all going to be on camera.
That second one is not the right one. Forgive me on that. But you did hear the invasion. Here's one more piece from Joe Scarborough.
If I were a Democrat running for office, I would do this. I would be carrying this around all day. Look at what the Republicans are doing to you. Look what Donald Trump's doing to you. Donald Trump said, kill the bill and blame me for everything that happens after this point. Donald Trump said, blame me. So yes, Donald, we are blaming you.
800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227 on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. Why aren't we using rubber bullets and tear gas at the border? We now find out when they do this, try to tear down our walls, our fences, our razor rim. I don't understand why we aren't using rubber bullets and tear gas and other tools like that for riot control for these illegals. And do you think Joe Biden would have charged 12 of these 600 illegals that we now have confirmed, 600 of them? Do you think Joe Biden would have charged 12 of them, these 12 people, if it wasn't on camera where we could see the optics, if the optics didn't look bad? Because this kind of stuff happens every day, according to my friend who's the Newsmax border correspondent, Jason Jones. You can see several of his videos that came up today on Newsmax that he shared with me personally. I put them out on my Twitter feed, at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show. Frank in Arlington, you're on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey, Frank.
Thank you for taking my call, sir. Yeah, it's pretty infuriating to watch all this go down. The weakness, the betrayal of weakness, and this is Texas, by the way. Texas is supposed to be the biggest and the baddest. Look, my point is this. I'm really angry, but I think the governor of this state needs to call an emergency hearing right now, get them back in the Capitol House, and start protecting with laws any National Guardsman, DPS, any law enforcement agent that has to do what it's got to do. And if the federal government wants to get in the way, we will go to war with them too. That's it.
Well,
the talk. Everybody is explaining the problem, and nothing's getting solved. This is stupid. This is pure stupidity.
It angers me to see our dear, beloved guardsmen be hit, attacked, shoved, assaulted, and pushed to the side without any way to defend themselves. It is obvious.
Are we men? Are we men? Don't we have a ground here to hold that God gave us for our families? And we're going to let these piss ants come around the world? Enough is enough. Let them unload on them, bullets, whatever it takes. You send a message, and they will run.
Well, I don't think we need real bullets. I think we need...
I don't care. Just whatever it takes to turn them back, like the Revolutionary War.
Do you think rubber bullets and tear gas and beanbag shots that we fire for riot control would be good enough?
Call the militias out. Let them mow them down. That's all I care to say.
Well, all right, I got to roll, brother. I certainly don't want to call for killing people. That's not going to happen on my show, so I will let you go at this point. But I appreciate your passion. I just think shooting people is not the way to do it. I think riot control that we use on our own citizens, why wouldn't we use the same thing we use on our own citizens on the illegals who have already come over the border? They're literally on the Texas side already, but they're trying to break through our fences and our razor ribbon, and they, at that point, are shoving our borders down. There's a video of it on my Twitter feed today of them trying it again from Newsmax. Democrat Veronica Escobar, she's out of El Paso. She blames Greg Abbott for this. Today's event makes two things clear. Operation Lone Star is ineffective, does not work. Texas National Guard not trained to process illegals, and their presence impedes federal law enforcement. Well, the job is not to process them, you amnesty lady. The job is to repel them and arrest them and deport them. That's the job. Another Democrat, Robert Garcia from California, says the president put forward a bill to address this issue. It's been rejected by Republicans. False. That would let 4,000 to 5,000 in a day. It would be codified when it's not right now. And number two, it would pay for lawyers for the illegals, and it would give $7 billion to the cities. It's a disaster. It's a joke. It never should have been considered by any Republicans. Second of all, you have the White House blaming Congress and Republicans. Trump said to blame him for it, for not passing it. He got his wish. The result was chaos after Abbott's Operation Lone Star and Razor Wire were overrun yesterday. Really, it's our fault, and this is all us. Do you think that's going to play in November? Trump is ahead of Biden on the border for 30 points right now. You think that's literally going to play, that it's all Republicans' fault? I hope these people keep saying this kind of crap because nobody believes it. Yeah, that's just not happening. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Border Patrol blasts Joe Biden, and this is a first for me. It's not the union. This is the chief of the Border Patrol, Jason Owens, blasted the Biden administration. Quote, "We need to take a look at the asylum laws and make it where only people that have a legitimate claim can claim asylum. We need to be able to enforce the immigration laws that are on the books. See, we don't need new laws," he says, "and hold the people accountable whenever they choose to break the law. I'm talking about jail time, being removed from the country, being banned from being able to come back because you choose to come out the illegal way instead." And a friendly reminder that out of those 600 illegals yesterday that invaded, we're now being told only 12 are being prosecuted. The rest have been let in, and they're innocent. They just followed the crowd. They were responsible for the swarm and the injury and the overrunning of our National Guardsmen. Absolutely false on that. All the 600 should be prosecuted, charged, and kicked out of this country and never be allowed to come in. Period. Up next on the Chris Crock Show. I don't know if you caught this. This is going to scare you, and it should scare you. Our national security advisor issuing an alert today to every single governor of our state about our drinking water. And how it's being attacked and is ready to be attacked and stopped by Iran and China separately. That's next. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. That's 800-288-WBAP. And, I'm obviously following the Russian terrorism that happened. ISIS took credit for it. It's pretty horrific to see what they did, and you can see the video and see the horror of the terrorists attacking on my Twitter feed at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show. Of course, it's pretty scary and nasty, but it is what it is. So I got to tell you, I would not want to be any ISIS member if I were in Russia, because that's one country you really don't want to get caught doing terrorism at. There's pretty much no limit to what they're going to do to you on that. So, and that's one I would not have a problem with. Other than that, I got a big problem with it. Okay. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to share with you is look at this, 60 killed. 60 killed right now. The latest numbers from fake news CNN. Wow. And the U.S. supposedly warned them of extremists, quote unquote, targeting Moscow 2 weeks ago. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, I'll keep following that for you. We'll let you know what goes on as it goes on. But nonetheless, this is something that also, unfortunately, I'm going to whiz in your Cheerios a little bit more here. This should be getting more news than it is today. Hackers targeting the U.S. water systems, the Biden administration says. It is so bad, it is Iran and it is Russia. And, excuse me, no, it's not Russia. It's Iran and it's China. And it is so bad, and it is such a threat to all of our water supplies in all 50 states that, to me, this is a huge deal. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan and the head of the EPA, Mike Reagan, warned all 50 governors, including our Texas governor, Governor Abbott, today. And they sent out this warning, and they said, quote, disabling cyber attacks are striking water and wastewater systems throughout the United States. These attacks have the potential to disrupt the critical lifeline of clean and safe drinking water, as well as impose significant costs on affected communities. They say there's two main threats. Quote, actors affiliated with the Iranian government, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, as well as the People's Republic of China, state-sponsored group known as Volt Typhoon. Volt Typhoon is that group that has already put in viruses and other crippling malware, attackware kind of stuff that's in our systems that has not been activated yet. And when it does, it will reportedly be able to take out our power grids, reportedly be able to take out our water systems. And I've told you this before. If we do not have, do you remember what happened to us in DFW when we thought there was not we, meaning the idiots out there in DFW thought that there was a gasoline shortage about 2-3 years ago? Do you remember that? And people were panicking and they went and they bought gas because they were hearing there was a shortage, there was going to be one. And so then what happens? What happens when the community of now 8.1 million goes nuts and buys all the gas? You think we're going to have gas? No, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So they started seeing gas shortages at places. And then what happened? And this was all fake news. There was no shortage. And everybody was being told, if you follow the news, which most people apparently don't, the real news, and locally and such, like WBAP, and they said, if you need gas, get gas. If you don't get gas. Well, people didn't care because they're stupid. They panicked. They bought up as much gas as they could. They caused a shortage. And there was one man that beat somebody up. He punched a guy in the face in Costco over gasoline. What do you think people will do with no water? What do you think they're going to do? They're going to kill people if there's no water, right? I mean, is that reasonable? After 3, 4, 5, 6 days of no water? What are people going to do? God knows what they're going to do, right? But we don't want to find out, do we? Second of all, what do we do if there's no power? Imagine this. No power, so no food in your fridge. Only your what you can eat in your pantry, etc., your food stores that you have. So that plus, if the power's out too, you can't fill up your gas tank most likely, right? The pumps probably can't work. I don't know if they operate manually. And then... no water, and you have a mass chaos problem, especially in a major urban area, particularly in a major urban area. So, and there's more I'm going to share with you. Let me share with you with what Chris Ray said from the FBI in just a sec. Our number is 800-288-WBAP. That's 800-288-9227. 800-288-WBAP. Chime in right now. Do you believe that China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea are preparing to launch an attack on the U.S. and its allies? And do you think they will actually attack before the election this fall? I mean, I hate to say that, but look, I'm going to read you the quote from Joe Biden's administration and his national security advisor. Actors affiliated, quote, disabling cyber attacks and striking water and wastewater systems throughout the United States. These attacks have the potential to disrupt the critical lifeline of clean and safe drinking water, as well as impose significant costs on the affected communities. The two threats are Iran and China. They are, quote, here's the scary line. They are pre-positioning themselves to disrupt critical infrastructure operations in the event of geopolitical tensions or military conflicts. So what we've already heard from our government and Chris Wray, the FBI director, and other security officials, even in the Biden administration, is that China has embedded in our electric grids and our drinking water systems malware, virus type stuff that can kick in if they wanted to, when they wanted to, and we can't find it all. We can't get it all out. So if we're now warning, if our government's now warning all 50 states of this, and saying that they're pre-positioning themselves for to disrupt our operations or to during military conflict. So, I mean, this tells me our government is warning us, to all of our governors, get ready now, because in a month, in 2 months, in 2 weeks, in 3 months, we could have a major cyber attack crippling our water supply and our power. So this tells me that I don't know. I'm not an expert in this area as far as attacks, but I will tell you this. This tells me that they're getting ready to possibly do something bigger than just attack our cyber and our electric. And I don't want to say that to scare you, but nonetheless, I say that because it's true that they're doing something along that nature. And, you know, China just went into Qatar, where the 3 billionaire leaders of Hamas are, and they met with the top leader of Hamas, China did, and they said it was a productive meeting. It was good. They're keen on Hamas's interests. And so you're looking at the axis of evil, which is China, it is Iran, and through Iran, Hamas, which is a proxy of Iran, as you know, as is Hezbollah and the Houthis in Somalia, and China, and Russia and North Korea. North Korea is nuclear, and they're the baby brother, the tiny little, infant brother of China, and they bark at their command. They do what China wants them to do. Russia is the younger brother, but more like a half the age of the of China, of China. So China's the big one. Just beneath them is Russia. Just beneath them is Iran and North Korea. And I think they're getting ready to launch something before Joe Biden leaves office. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But I hope that he gets kicked out in 6-8 months here by Trump. And then I pray at that point, I don't think there's going to be any attacks because the right guy will be in office, truthfully. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Here is our FBI director, Chris Wray, talking about how we are so outnumbered when it comes to all of these cyber attacks. We don't have the ability for these people to fight these folks back. We just don't. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. I will get that soundbite for you from Chris Wray coming up next. We'll play that for you. And then after this, I got to talk about something else. Have you noticed, if you're alive, you have a pulse, you've noticed the insane reaction to Kate Middleton having cancer today? And it's so ridiculous that I think it's way over the top. And we'll talk about that. We'll see if you think it is too. My gosh, I mean, did somebody get assassinated here? Or, so I come in, I'll tell you this, I come in and I have a little joke sometimes with people. I'll do off the air if it's not appropriate for on the air, or on the air if it's appropriate. And, this one I feel comfortable saying on the air. I told one of my colleagues, I'm like, breaking news, did you hear the breaking news? Kate Middleton still has cancer. She still has it. Not that she has it, we all know that, but she still does. That's the breaking news story I gave my friend today. I was like, can this stuff relax? Is it me or this is way over the top? I'm going to share with you a bunch of headlines, a bunch of coverage that is so stupid and over the top, and then these celebrities that were picking on her and attacking her for like weeks on social media for like being in hiding. Now what should they do? They owe an apology? All that next on the Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. All right. We will be hearing from Chris Ray in just a second on that audio that I was looking for. It went hiding from me. But first, we're going to talk to Bill in Dallas about how do you feel about the water system in all 50 states. All our water systems are being threatened by China and Iran right now, all 50 states, according to our Homeland Security Department, actually I should say our National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, issuing a press release or a letter to all 50 governors, including Governor Abbott in Texas, of course. And unfortunately, it's also from Iran. So both of them are now threatening our water supplies. And in fact, they're saying that many of our water systems across the country don't even have basic cybersecurity precautions, not in place for many U.S. facilities, such as resetting default passwords or updating software. Well, the password, what's the password? It's password. Well, no, we changed it. It's password 123 now, so we're good. Here's Chris Ray before we go to Bill's call in Dallas, plus your call at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227, asking you, do you believe that China, Russia, Iran, North Korea are preparing to launch an attack on us and its allies and our allies? And do you think they'll attack before the election this fall, when we're told by our own government that they're pre-positioning themselves to disrupt critical infrastructure operations in the event of geopolitical tensions or military conflicts? Here's Chris Ray.
The PRC has a bigger hacking program than that of every major nation combined.
If you focused all of the FBI's cyber professionals on the China threat, we would still be at what sort of disadvantage?
We would be at a disadvantage of at least 50-1, the defining threat of our generation.
Well, there you go, guys. So we are at 50-1 from China. I'm sure we're not much better than Iran. Bill in Dallas, you're on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Chris Crock.
Hey. Hello.
Hey. So, Chris.
Yes.
I recently read a book called The Next Second. Or no. Anyway, it's a novel about an EMP.
Electromagnetic pulse, where you can fry all of our electric systems, whether it be our computers, our refrigerators, our grid, everything.
Every electronic device.
Yes.
Cars stopping on the highway, airplanes falling out of the sky.
Yes, thank you for those two things too. How did it describe? I mean, I don't know if it was fictional with a little bit of truth in there or all truth, but like I wonder what the range is on the EMP. I think it could be an explosion of some kind, and then it rocks us maybe 20 miles, 100 miles, 2 miles. I have no clue.
Well, in the novel, at least. And I think the guy did some big research, so probably fairly accurate. Anyway, in the story, they dropped 3 over the United States, and it just wiped out, almost everything in the United States with those 3. And it's a nuclear weapon that's released high enough in the atmosphere that it zaps everything. But
that's not good.
The implication in the story was that basically everything was shut down. People died en masse because of lack of food. Folks who are in ill health and have supplemental needs, they died because there was no electricity to take care of them, and medicine ran out. All sorts of things. And when you say the water system, though, Chris, that's
life. That's life or death.
And yet as impactful probably, and more sneaky and perhaps easier to to pull off. But anyway, the point is, we're at risk, absolutely, and we're not prepared, and we haven't hardened our systems. And to your question about, is it possible or probable? I have no idea. I hate to buy into conspiracies, but I think it's realistic, and we're just not prepared.
I think you're right, and I think we're not prepared. I think we need to be prepared as individuals, and that means having an ability to get water somehow. We have some filters that we purchased. If we ever need them, that'll last probably a month or two. I don't know, before they have to get replaced, the filter itself. But the individual ones, but you got to go to a running stream of water somewhere. But that ain't going to do it for 99% of the people who have nothing. And you're going to have a serious problem. Hygiene, just life. Water is life. Electricity we can get by without, but not unless you have an infirmity, and if you're infirmed in some way, like you said. Bill, I appreciate your great call from Dallas. Thank you very much. Do it again, okay?
Yep. Talk to you later.
Take care. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Coming up next on the Chris Crock Show, Kate Middleton. Princess Kate, I guess, is what you call her. I'm not a big royalty dude that follows all that stuff, but I call it Kate Middleton insanity. Have you seen all the insanity that's going on with this today? I mean, you think it was like the second coming. I don't know. I think it's ridiculous. I'll be playing telling you about some of the stuff that happened today that makes me go, are you kidding me? This is ridiculous, over the top. And also celebrities who made fun of her because she was missing for several weeks. Now people are saying, you're going to apologize. How dare you? We'll get into all that coming up next on the Chris Crock Show at News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.